Hello world, my name's Ben and welcome to Recap. Last time we played, the party had just overcome a group of death giants and recovered the great axe of Wiston, which was the last weapon they needed in order to be able to confront the Storm Dragon. Before the dust even settled on that encounter, the party gathered together and quickly teleported back to a safe place they knew of, the dwarven stronghold of Sandbreak. Now that the party had gathered all of the weapons and armor that they needed, they felt that it was time for them to actually take on the challenge of defeating the Storm Dragon. The only thing left after accumulating the weapons and armor they needed was to spend some time to get to know the items, to get comfortable with them, to train with them, and to imbue them with magical properties so that way as a party they would be fully set up and prepared to deal with what was probably their most dangerous adversary ever. So the party spent a good amount of time training and finalizing their plans, as much as you can call their tactics plans, and they worked to come up with the last details they needed before they charge in to actually fight the Storm Dragon. During the week they were there, the party was able to get regular updates because they had already made friends with the servants of Joringon. That group of clerics and adventurers were spread out throughout the globe and at this point had been keeping tabs on the dragon's location and what it was doing. So they had people in the field reporting back daily basically, or sometimes more often than that, so that way the party could be aware of where the dragon was and what was happening, so that way when the party was ready, the party could just teleport to the closest safe location and then move in from there. So let's take a moment and follow the information that the party got about where the dragon was and what it was doing. When the party was in the necropolis, they had received a message that the dragon had just ransacked a capital city, which they now learn was floating over the area of the Dark Forest, an area that the party had specifically avoided earlier because of how dangerous that particular region was. Shortly after raising that city, the dragon had gathered some followers, silver dragons primarily, and had started heading south and southwest along the area known as the Mountains of Tears. The party found that there really wasn't any major settlement except for an Underdark settlement of Fomorian giants. The next day, the party got word that the dragon had actually veered more northward and is heading out across the water directly towards the Volcanic Wastes. Volcanic Wastes are the home of the fire giant race. Gergen was able to piece together some information and figured out that the Tikani race that was just attacked are primarily air-based, and then the fire giants that the dragon was heading towards next are fire-based. So there was actually a pretty good chance that the dragon had been targeting specifically elemental areas and trying to take out races and absorb their power if those races were primal in essence. The dragon only spent a little over a day in the volcanic wastes, harassing fire giant patrols and driving them back to their city. Once the giants were fortified back in their city, the dragon moved on, heading more westerly towards an area known as the Ghost Swamp. The next day, the dragon made landfall and arrived on the shore of the Ghost Swamp. Now, what wasn't expected was that the dragon actually set up a camp with her and all of her followers where they took over an area of the Ghost Swamp, and then the party lost the ability to locate where the dragon was. So one of the abilities that the party had found out that they had early on when dealing with this storm dragon was that they could sense where, in a directional sense, where the dragon was. But occasionally they had discovered that if the dragon would fall off their radar. First time that this happened, they had actually managed to catch up with where the dragon was theoretically, and there was a giant egg bolting in the ruins of the city of Woodnest. So the theory was that the dragon had set up camp and was once again in egg form, crystallizing and becoming more powerful possibly, while the dragons around it were protecting it. This is when the party decided, we have to go now, and let's see if we can take out the dragon followers, which reports have been coming in saying that some of the black dragons from the swamp had been joining this dragon camp. So before the camp could get too much more powerful and have too many more dragons, the party decided it was time to go in and see if they could thin the herd a little bit. This coincided with the party managing to finish up all of their detailed planning and come out with the scrolls, potions, and spells, items, attunements, whatever they felt that they thought they would need to go deal with the storm dragon and its followers. Of course, the first challenge the party runs into when they get to the ghost swamp is the swamp, and they actually didn't really plan for that. So here they are, trudging through very hostile terrain, mud up to their waists, and the only one not really worrying about that is Gergen, who has a ring of water walk and is able to just walk across the top of the water in this mud without any real concern of sinking in. Wasn't too much of a challenge. The party's kind of capable and was able to look out for danger spots after they found what those danger spots looked like. And they didn't have a long distance to go, only about 1,000 feet. So they were able to trudge forward and get to the edge of the dragon camp. Now, before the party left Sandbreak, they had made final arrangements with the servants of Joringon, so that way that group and any other adventurers that they had managed to pull in on the plan were able to converge to this one point as quickly as possible. That would allow not only for the party to be there to fight this horde of dragons, which is probably somewhere around 24, maybe up to 30 at this point, and these other adventurers and servants of Joringon were able to assist dealing with some of the extra dragons and kind of even out the numbers a little bit. We ended game just as the party was ready. They had cast their buffs and they were about to charge into battle. It was too late for us to go actually run the battle, so that is where we're going to pick up next time. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a fantastic day.